Hello, and welcome to the very first DrWiggo on Life video. I mentioned when I did the channel update changeover about what I was going to do, I said there'd be occasional DrWiggo on Life videos. Well, this is the first one, and it's going to be about kindness. Because I think kindness is one of the most important things that you can do, that you can be, that it can help you in innumerable ways, some of which I will enumerate now. Now you might say, wait, in your day job, aren't you a business school professor? What does business have to do with kindness? Don't nice guys finish last? Well, actually, nice guys don't finish last. Well, sometimes they do, but those people that go racing out there and stepping on people and the not nice guys and kicking people out of their way, yeah, they tend to go pretty fast up the ladder a ways, but eventually they'll run into a problem and get knocked off the corporate ladder or whatever ladder they're climbing up. Because, and this is one of the best lessons I can tell you right away, is you'll meet the same people again and they'll remember. And I can't tell you the number of stories I've read. If you ever go on Reddit and read like the professional revenge stories and everything, where a guy is working as a waiter and this big wig comes in and treats him like garbage and dumps him and gets him fired and for no reason. And then the guy finishes school and then he gets a job, and the next thing you know, he's the hiring manager, and the idiot who treated him like garbage when he was a waiter comes in to look for a job. Well, believe me, the guy that when he was a waiter, this guy won't remember him. But the waiter will remember him, and he will not be getting the job. So things come back to bite you in the butt. So nice guys do not finish last. Now, sometimes they do on purpose because they help someone across the finish line. You've seen those sports stories. But anyway, back to kindness. I'm going to wander around here because I'm talking about something I feel strongly about. You need to be kind to one another. And the last few years, this has just gone out the window. I've seen people who call themselves Christians spitting in people's faces because, don't tell me to wear a mask. The person, by the way, who's generally asking them to wear a mask is an employee of the store, and the store has the policy. I mean, you're yelling at the wrong people, and this is the problem. Oh, speaking of religion, by the way, pretty much every religion has like the golden rule or something like it. You know, treat others as you want to be treated, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Almost every major religion has that. But we seem to have forgotten that, most of us. People do not remember that you should be kind. And the main problem is with people treating people who are in subservient roles. Waiters, clerks, people who are helping you, whose jobs it is, in fact, to help you. They're there to help you. And people come in and treat them like dirt, scream at them, berate them, do all sorts of nonsense. Again, go on Reddit. There's thousands of stories of people doing this. I mean, it's just, we have a word for it now. They call them Karens, where they just go off on you for no reason. But it's because of the subservient roles. They just and there's no reason for it. By the way, waiters in particular, let me tell you something. I used to be a waiter. That's how I worked my way part through college and even in partly through grad school. And waiters get treated like dirt, like they're not human, like they're things. It's dreadful. By the way, when I was getting my MBA, I was a waiter in a country club. That is the worst because they treat you even worse than they do in regular restaurants, and there's no tipping. It's like no tipping. like maybe once a year at Christmas, you'll get a Christmas bonus, but no tipping. Now they pay a little better than a restaurant, but not enough better to justify it. Oh, it was horrible. It was like the worst job I ever had because I was constantly being yelled at and berated for no good reason, just because I was a waiter. And you don't know when you're going to do something that's going to affect other people. I had a friend come visit me, and we went out I took him out to dinner at a restaurant. And the server came over and said, "Oh, you were my favorite professor." And we chatted for a minute, and he turned and walked away. And my friend said, "You must be so proud that your graduates are working in the food service industry." Well, the kid heard him and came back over the table and said, "Well, I'm in the management training program." My friend hurt that man for no good reason, just because he thought he was making a funny joke. The butt of the joke was a living, breathing human being who had feelings. And all these people that people yell at and scream at, they're all human beings with feelings. So you need to learn to treat them like they're people with feelings and not things. Here's a positive example. Back when I could work, all the time, but we're going to get there again. There's a Starbucks near my building that I would stop at and get Starbucks on my way, to teach or whatever, to go to my office. I'd stop by and pick up some Starbucks. I was always nice to them. I still am. I'm always nice to them. They have name tags, so I read their name tag. I learn their names because I go, when you're a regular somewhere, this really can pay off, being nice to people that are going to be giving you things. Trust me. In fact, here's how it works. I'm always nice to them. And by the way, this isn't costing me anything. I mean, this is time I would spend waiting in line and then waiting for my Frappuccino to be made. So, I mean, it's not like I'm doing anything else. So just saying a nice word or, asking about their kids or, if you just start a little conversation, it makes them feel better. It makes you feel better. So I come in one day, and there's this huge long line. And I'm going to have to stand in line, and if you know how Starbucks works, they don't start making your stuff until you order it. So I'm going to have to wait in line, and then when I finally get to the front of the line, then they'll start making my Starbucks. But remember, I'm always nice to these women. And one of them would see me standing at the back of the line, and this particular one, I really liked her. She would yell out, "I got you!" And she'd go start making my Frappuccino so that when I got to the front of the line and I'm ready to pay, my Frappuccino is sitting there for me to pick up and walk away with, while everyone else is getting their drinks made after they order them. Mine was made before I ordered it, just because I was nice to them. Once I forgot my wallet. I'd left it at home. I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "I can't get it. I don't have my wallet." And she said, "Oh, honey, that's okay. I'll get it for you. You get me next time." She bought my coffee for me. And then, of course, the next time I came in, I gave her the money back. But they don't do that to you if you're yelling and screaming and calling them bad people. Now, by the way, I learned all this from my dad. My dad was in retail. He was the general manager for a large department store chain. And in the 60s, early 60s, he was general manager of some stores in Louisiana. And the company was a nationwide company, and they said, "Well, they're passing these laws. We have to hire African-American clerks to work in the store." And my dad did that because his boss told him to. Well, he would see during break times that the African-American clerks in the break room, no one would sit with them. They treated them like pariahs. Well, my dad would go sit with them because it was his store. And he wanted all of his employees to feel at home and welcome in his store. And he went out of his way. And by the way, don't you know that those employees would do anything for him? He needed something done. Not a problem. They'd see they got taken care of. because that's what people do when you're nice to them. That is not what people do when you scream at them and call them names and berate them. And you know, have you been out lately? In almost every restaurant I've been in, you end up seeing someone screaming at a waiter or screaming at somebody for nothing. Now, you can also use this to your advantage for career advantage. When I worked in New York, I worked in a big office, and there were a lot of people in the office, and most of them treated the secretaries and administrative assistants like they were pieces of furniture, like they were potted plants. They didn't think of them as human. They were just there to, you know, here, handle this, do that. There was a receptionist. She was very old. She had worked for 25 years for AT&T, and then as she was in her almost 25 years into her second career, she was getting a second pension. And when I got there, everybody said, "Oh, watch out for her. Oh, she's a bitch. You know, no, oh, she doesn't like anybody. She won't do anything." Well, I just treated her the way I treat everybody. She loved me. We got along great. By the way, she took people's messages, right? She was the receptionist, worked the switchboard. I never didn't get a message. There were lots of people who worked at that office who treated her like crap and yelled at her and screamed at her. Well, they wouldn't get their messages, including important messages that they told her that they needed. Well, that would just give her more incentive not to give it to you. Whereas if you just be nice to her, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, you have a message." It was great. But I took it a little further because I didn't like the way the secretaries and administrative assistants were treated. Now, I was new, I was young, so I just didn't think it was right. I started a little tradition. The first Friday of every month, I would take all the secretaries and administrators, there weren't that many of them, you know, like maybe 10, 8, 10, and they wouldn't all come, but they'd all be invited. And now, remember, this is New York City, so it's a commuter office, so most of them were catching trains. In fact, we'd go to the bar in Grand Central. So they'd just grab like one drink or two and then go on. So I'd pick up the tab, but it wouldn't be a very big tab because, like I said, they weren't drinkers. They were just having a quick cocktail on their way to the train. And I'd buy the drinks, and I'd just sit back and let them socialize and find out everything that was going on with anybody in the office. I knew who was sleeping with whom. I knew who was in trouble. I knew who was going to get a promotion. I knew who wasn't going to get a promotion. I heard all the gossip straight, because these are the people that read all the memos and had all the papers and knew everything that was going on. So I knew everything. It gave me a big advantage. Plus, here's another story. One of those administrative assistants worked for my boss's boss's boss, the guy in the corner office. And one day I'm walking over because I want to drop in, ask him about something. And one of the reps from one of the other side of the office is over there, and I catch the tail end of their conversation. He obviously wants to get in to see him also. And she's saying, "Oh, look, he's all booked up. Best I can do is tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. He said, "That's the best you can do?" And she said, "Yes, that's the best I can do." And he stormed off, you know, that bitch. And I walked up and I said, "Well, that's too bad." And she said, "What's too bad?" I said, "Well, that he's busy because I kind of wanted to see him." She said, "Oh, go right in." He wasn't busy. But her only power was access to the boss. And that guy treated her like crap, so he didn't get access to the boss. Except when she decided to deign to let him. Whereas she'd let me just go right in. So that was good for my career. Here, I'll tell you. Well, maybe I shouldn't tell you. Well, I don't know who watches this. Anyway, I had a really bad tenure process thing happen at one of the schools that I ended up leaving before I came to where I am. And again, I was friendly with all of the secretaries, administrative assistants. And when my tenure got denied, for no good reason, by the way, the dean's secretary called me up and said, you can come pick up your tenure packet, you know, where you put all your papers in, you know, because once they give it back. So they get back. I get back upstairs, and I'm just kind of looking through it. Well, in the back were all the memos and emails and all the comments from the rest of the faculty to the dean arguing for why I shouldn't get tenure. So I knew exactly who sabotaged my tenure. I had it in writing. And then, of course, a couple of days later, she called me up all innocent and said, I think I may have left some papers in your packet. If you could just drop those back by here, I would really appreciate it. She knew it wasn't an accident. She did that on purpose. And why? Because I was always nice to her. And these other faculty, the ones who she was basically tattling on, treated her like garbage, like a thing. So my comments here are basically, I'm trying to get you to default to kindness. Just assume, just be kind to people. It doesn't cost you anything. And by the way, you never know. You know, somebody's walking by and looking a little down, and you say, hey, how you doing? And you just keep going. You smile and say hello to people. I do that all the time. I talk to people and say hello to people all the time. Well, you never know. That person might have been thinking about killing themselves. But because someone was nice to them and said hello, they go, well, you know, maybe I'm not worthless. Maybe people do see me. People do see that I'm a human being. But so just default to kindness. Treat people kindly. You'll find that they will treat you better. Oh, and let me give you a little bit of relationship advice, dating advice, for those of you who aren't already married. If you're dating someone who treats waiters like garbage and screams at them and berates them, get away. Get away out of that relationship, because that's how they're going to treat you once you're married. Yeah, when you're dating, they're all, oh, I love you, and then they're screaming at the waiter. Grr! Well, after you're married, they're going to scream at you that same way. I've seen it happen again and again. Well, but it doesn't matter. People like that, people who default to mean, will start defaulting to mean to you. If once you become, you know, well, you've probably been in relationships where, you know, people say things and you get a little, oh, I can't believe, you know, and so well, and it just builds up. Well, these are the people that are going to explode on you. People that are nice. By the way, it's zero cost, as I've said many times. Costs you nothing. It's just a few words here and there, a wave, a say hello. But it pays real dividends. Well, I told you some of the real dividends, but it makes you happy. Now, I can't say for sure that these are related, but I think they probably are. I'm always happy. I'm almost always happy. I have a bad day every now and then, but it's just a bad day. It doesn't carry over. I don't let things weigh me down. My motto, by the way, is be a duck. Have you ever seen a duck in the rain? Water just flows off their back. They don't care. They're ducks. Be a duck. Let things just, let it go. Let it flow over you. It'll get, your blood pressure will go down, your stress levels will go down, you'll sleep better, you'll probably have less stomach problems. It pays real dividends to not get upset. When I'm driving, when I have someone riding with me, they always freak out because, like, people cut me off and I just go, okay. They go, aren't you mad? I say, why? What good is it going to do me to get mad? What good? What, am I supposed to chase him down and start a road rage incident and end up getting shot? I just, hey, good luck to them. They're in a bigger hurry than I am. Don't lose your temper at people you don't know. Nothing good will come of it. In fact, don't lose your temper in general unless you know why you're losing your temper, and if you think letting it out will help the person do a better job, then yeah. But just be a duck. Let it go. Let it go. And I'm not going to sing the song for those of you who have children who've watched Frozen 1,000 times. But think of that song. Just let it go. Kindness pays. At zero cost, pays real dividends. And that's really all I have to say about kindness. Be kind to one another. It costs you nothing. And if you're a Christian, or in almost any, if you're a religious person, a spiritual person of any kind, it's what you're supposed to do. It's what your religion tells you to do. That's what the golden rule is all about. Be nice to others. Treat them the way you want to be treated. So, that's what I have to say about kindness. So, thanks for coming by. Have a happy new year, and have a very happy new year by being nice to people and being kind to people and not treating them like garbage. And it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't cost you anything. You'll feel better. Your stress levels will be lower. I swear, it's a better life to live. Bye-bye.